Good morning. I'm not really a morning person, but here we are. Sweet. I've got my script there, I'll pick it up in a sec, but I should start with my strength. I want to be your mirror. So I see what you see. You see what I see, and all I see is you gazing at me. I want to be a debilitating disease. Make you weak in the knees, but bless you when you sneeze and miss you like a ghost misses form when you leave. I want to be the big issue. Man that you give 250 to. Compassion's material form once held by you. Smell like you. Be the scent that you apply. Provide the glisten of desire that resides in your eye. I want to be your bed, your sheet, your pillow and your cover, the one that you smother, your bedtime lover, comfort in the form of a significant other, your cocoa butter. Invade your pores with the cream of me, just so I can touch you ubiquitously, your pupils. Teach me to see that I'm the one for you, and you complete me, the only Facebook message or reply to. I want to be the receptor your ligands will bind to, the pen lid you chew, your most comfortable shoes, the one thing you'll never lose, the only choice you'll ever choose. I want to be every single girl you have ever encountered, so that technically I am the only one. The game you play for fun. I'll let you monopolize and think that you've won fairly, because I want to be the hand that you lay. I'll let you handwrite my game, for I want to be poetry you write, a sublimation with a flow that's so tight like your boy. Share all instances of carefree joy. Fight your fight, share your pain, and make it my own, your phone. Use me to communicate. All feelings of love, loss, despair, hate. I want to be soaker that makes you whine, pine, the architect of your love line. Please let me design the memory you trigger when you're down, the riddle you ponder that makes you frown with confusion, trying to figure the answer. I'll be your lecturer, guide to conclusion that it's all because you love her, me, your student ID. I want to be part of your identity, provide knowledge. See, you need me to get into the library. Fuck it. I can only be the woman I am, the woman you see. Cheers. Thank you. Okay. All right, so I wrote this speech because I was saying outside that I'm good at performing, not that good at speaking. So if I'm reading, that's why. So that was an account of an obsession, and I'm a poet, and so every bit of longing or desire I have is a poem. So if you make me feel like I'm lacking something, I might write about it. And delight is often harder to write about, but the above. No, not the above, because I wrote it, so I was like, fuck. The above is an example of allowing an emotion, a feeling to take hold and hijack all consciousness over how deep that lust was. It didn't turn into anything. He doesn't even know that was written for him. But it cleared me out in order to be able to get on with studying for my exams. Because at the time it felt really poignant and really intense, but it is essentially a regurgitation of a love poem, and there are loads of them, aren't there? It's just spun on a slightly different angle, and I'm hoping that that configuration of words doesn't exist anywhere else. Probably does, but I shove that thought to the back of my mind when I write. Because how many different ways can you actually say that you're the perfect match for someone? There are only so many words, which can make only so many combinations. So how do I keep a record of existing my own? I think that power and ability lies in being able to be authentic. I began writing when I was 17 in a workshop that I didn't believe I would vibe with. But it was in this space that I was permitted to be myself. It was never that I wasn't myself in other spaces. It was just that in this one, I was encouraged to write from my perspective and present that. My reality was and still is full of patterns and links between the macro and micro politics. And there were no red pens. And this is what enabled my writing to be authentic. Our eyes have distinct configuration of rods and cones. Our nose hair and ear equipment grow in different ways. Our skin senses and taste buds respond in a variety of ways to the same stimuli. We receive this world as individuals. And essentially, though I believe we use consensuses and myths and stories to keep us in flow with one another, sometimes this distills our own narratives. And so how I facilitate the expression of how I feel about what I experience, and same for you as individuals, is unique and interesting. Next poem. London. I see your point. Your shard steel sky, your fireworks smiles, your laser lights. Your pace flips my stomach. I yearn to hold you down. You make me feel like your mistress, stretched under you, around you, through you. I know your backdrops and fast routes. I overstand your underground, temperamental on Sunday nights. Fluorescent hall full, music loud, we dance. In our intimate space with our foreheads close and our closed eyes shut, we dance. You take my hand and you spin me. Round your core, faster and faster, ever changing, ever returning under our time-scarred moons, our mouths howling like wolves in your world wound where hope hangs in narrow mews hidden between tower blocks, not warm enough to nestle, too hard to spring from, flawless from far. But London, your frantic, relentless, needless addiction who should know that though I need you, I know that you need me too. Without me, who will sing you lullabies on late lonely nights? Who will breathe and keep pace with you? Without me, London, there would be nobody to see you and agree with your point of view. No soul to love your incessant core enough to forgive you for your indeterminable flaws. So, I didn't factor in applause. I'm sorry if I got over. But like to create these stories, these narratives isn't always easy because we're social creatures. So we want to get on with everyone, most people, and not necessarily stand out too much or go against the grain. Sometimes we do, that's fine. But sometimes we judge our thoughts and our feelings, and we halt the flow of them and penalize them before they've been able to make sense of themselves, to kind of dissipate. We mostly have set conditions as to what is right and wrong, good and bad, appropriate and inappropriate. But I believe that we are the primary victims of our own judgment and our own prejudice, projecting our insecurities onto others. I always get asked, where are you from? My repeated reply is London, the town that sheltered a mother fleeing from war-torn land, baby in belly given chance to be a man, a city of prosperity. She seeks jobs allowing her to keep her dignity independently living in a state, not off it, her benefit, one son, a bright boy of renewable energy. He knew all he'd ever be was a product of the city that had changed his destiny. They say, all right, but what country? I breathe deeply, swallowing sarcastic syllables, and exhale, Great Britain. The island, throned in seas that channeled safety. She carried men to defend countryside, scattered with towns full of factories, the curator of colonies, voiced view to keep view, exploit, use to heavily recruit natural warlocks, to fight aggressively with strength and bravery, 52,000 casualties, Gurkha's support over 2 world wars, nearly 500,000 fought for Great Britain. I'm teasing them. Because though it's not a lie, I know it's not the desired response. And so I'm not surprised when they reply, "Where are your parents from?" See, I can't hide pigment skin within words, whether fact or fiction, so I tell them I'm a product of miscegenation. That parents are from Jamaica and Scotland. Raised in England, they found life and made love in London to born and breed a British girl. So while I am an addict for hard food, I fiend for the smell of eggs and bacon in the morning. I'm a sucker for a cuppa, and I will batter a fish and chips in less than 15 minutes. I was raised by the church and educated by EastEnders. Friday nights of teenage life were spent going on drink benders. I can't pretend, because all I know is GB. And I suppose on paper, I maybe, quite possibly, could read as an idle recruit for the BMP or the UKIP. Where my balaclava too high so my eyes can't see the route of my journey to the RWB, tickets to qualifications on my CRB, 5 for hate crimes would get me VIP, but a face-to-face interview would refuse my application. On the grounds of which I walk on are not my birthright nation. Profile is proof of racial integration, defies the silent slogan of skin-based segregation, and as the tick box of white Caribbean is crossed, my rights are wrong and I should politely get lost. Pack bags to try to find where I belong. But before I am forced to leave, I will leave thoughts to ponder on. Where did you, your parents, and your ancestors come from? Thank you. Hey. So, when I facilitate workshops or talk to anyone who asks about my process and where my poems come from, a little link, I tell them this. I write from everything, all of it, the ugly especially. I write and I write and I write, and then I doodle and I stretch, and then I laugh to myself, cry, and then I write. Not all the words want to get themselves into a poem. Not all will be reread after landing on the paper. But all of them that pop from my head to hand to paper or device want to exist, if only for a moment. I call this free writing, as I'm sure we all do, because we're all writers. And I would be lying to you all if I said I did morning pages. Like I said, I'm not a morning person. Sometimes I do them, but other times I do daytime pages, or nighttime pages, or train time pages, or I'm about to burst with too muchness pages, or that didn't go so according to plan pages. If I restrict myself to morning pages, and I don't end up doing it, then I've conditioned my flow. The most important thing for me to do is to write. All the thoughts, the ideas, the dreams, the plans, the rants, all of it is of some use. Some of it, most of it, only demonstrates what I do not mean, what I do not want to say out loud and put into this world. But then come the words that jump into and over one another, that find a rhythm and harmony within the chaos of thought, that paint a bespoke canvas palatable enough to share. Regardless of where those words end up, they always began with an authentic feeling, and the acceptance of that feeling to take hold within this human form and to be absorbed thoroughly. To fearlessly write my narrative, to become the protagonist of my own life, a partially edited script of all the heavy and all the delight, always writing itself better. Tonight, we will visit a dead man. We will pretend he is alive. We will smile. We will try not to show pity. We will talk of our pasts. When asked about our present, we will leave out the best parts. Our futures will not be spoken of. They do not exist here. We will be alert to any hint that we should leave. We will pretend we don't want to. We won't want to. We will wish to stay, to see the peace cover his face finally. This is not our right. We will leave. I will avoid the eyes of his wife. She is too alive. She knows this, and I don't think she will want to be reminded of her life. She will be tired. She will be exhausted by smiling. Her barriers will remain high. She will feel damned while we are sat by her. He is not dead yet. I do not know what to call him. He is at the terminal. I hope it will be delayed, but delays are stressful. I hope it is a smooth sprint along the runway. I hope his legs stretch to the distance of his kindness. I will forever remember his height and size, his gentle nature and strong hands, how he allowed us to float in our dreams as children, and how he built what cleansed and hid my tears. I hope he remembers this also. He probably doesn't. I may hum the Puff Daddy song he'd sing on repeat. I miss him more than my dad. I miss my dad because of men like him. I'm missing a man I haven't seen for years. This is not unusual. Men in my life are usually terminal, about to leave. Whether they want to or not, whether they should or not is not the point. I'm used to waving. Tonight, I will wave with both arms. His eyes contain a universe. His pupils, black holes, pull into the freedom of no thing. Beauty belongs in the simple being of him. His beauty could never pass into nothingness, because his beauty is in the blessing of harvest and the curse of drought, the muscle of proud mountains and the reflective depth in buried lakes, the shallow tips of waterfalls and icebergs, the sea, the surge of waves, the thrashing of fish, the storms of sand and snow, the sense of breath from flowers' lips. His beauty is tucked into the circumference of the earth, the rough fringe and chiseled edge, the battered corners, the stitch-seam line where blue meets green. He sees the season's elements and holds arms up, palms wide to greet them, a passionate embrace with summer, a hasty shake with winter, a blooming smile for spring, and a court for the fall of autumn. His beauty is in the hush of the old trees that keep stories rooted in the freedom of the sky, coarse trunks stabled by time, swayed to the excitement of new leaves that leap courageously and float in current winds. His beauty is in his music, his movement, his hand married to a lion's face and experience wrapped round his pulse, his dance, his art, his disregard for perfection within perfection, his liberty to begin again, the chaotic cohesion of shapes and patterns, the recycled existence of inspiration. Him, sturdy, left behind tooth, dry shaven sideburns, curls that turn to fire in showers and lashes that lay like lazy wishes, timeless smiles, forgiveness, spirit, the deeds that define it, peace. His beauty is in the defenselessness of sleep. It lulls my stare of disbelief and lifts my gravity from its intention to distribute it across him, across his plains, his lands, his mountains and oceans, and like eagles and sharks, sights are high, for his eyes are the blue cloaks of this earth's universe, and each pupil harbors an insatiable depth that takes light from everything and replenishes it, as each blink gives birth to a star. Each tear wipes clear the dark fear of no thing, for beauty simply belongs in the being of him. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your day.